You will start recording. Today we will start with linguistics, the scientific study of language. We before discussed the language, right? We discussed some features and facts about language. And we said what is the difference between animal communication system and the human's language. That was the last two lectures, previous lectures. So we discussed and we have these facts and features about language. So to enter to the scientific study of language. So first we studied language. We knew some new things about language. Right now we are going into linguistics. What is linguistics? When we say the word linguistics in Arabic, we translate it. Right now we'll see what its translation. But when we say linguistics, we mean the scientific study of language. What do you know about linguistics? Whenever, from the first glance to the word linguistics, you can see some hints that maybe it studies language, because we have the letter L, the letter N, and the letter G, which are also existed in the word language. So you can guess that it studies languages. However, from the meaning, we can notice that, yeah, it studies languages, but not any kind of study. It studies them scientifically. Right now, we will see what do we mean by linguistics, and also we will see what do we mean by scientifically studying of language. Okay. First, we'll be taking in this slide. We'll be taking linguistics. What is linguistics? Then we will move to the main branches of linguistics. All right. Then we will see what do you mean by a linguist and what do we mean by a polyglot. After that, we will finish by seeing some sub-branches of linguistics, not main branches, but some other sub-branches of linguistics. Right now, we shall start with linguistics, right? Okay, this is detailed content. We will study linguistics. What do you mean by its meaning, its aims? What are the aims of linguistics, of this scientific study? Then we will have the main branches of linguistics, classifications of these branches. We have 3 classifications. I think we mentioned them before: sound, structure, and meaning. Then we will discuss the difference between a linguist and a polyglot. Who is a polyglot and who is a linguist? After that, we will see some sub-branches of linguistics. Anyhow, linguistic. When we said, right now, we have just said that linguistics, we said 3 major things. We said scientific, we said study, and we said language. So right now we will explain what do we mean by each word, right? What do we mean by scientific? Why this kind of study is scientific? Can it be a simple kind of study? And why does linguistics study language? What is the aim of this study? Why especially language? Okay, introduction. The word linguistics has been derived from Latin. It has 2 parts. Okay, when we say derived, we mean its main source, right? Its main source, the roots of this word. يعني احنا يا جماعه لما نحكي derived معناها احنا هذه الكلمه اصلها ماخوذه من هذه اللغه، تمام؟ احنا نحكي derived. The word linguistics has been derived from Latin. يعني اصل كلمه linguistics ماخوذ من اللغه اللاتينيه القديمه. It has 2 parts. Okay, dividing the word linguistics, we can notice 2 parts: lingua and istics. Lingua means tongue, and istics mean knowledge or science. So merging or putting these 2 things together, we mean the knowledge or science of tongue. And of course, when we say tongue, we have here a metonymy to the language, because we use the tongue to speak and produce sounds, and sounds make words, as we said, and words make and compose language. So here we mean that linguistics is the knowledge or the science of tongue or the science of language. Etymologically, linguistics is the scientific, okay, study of language. Etymologically معناها إنه يعني referring to this word or to the meaning of this word, okay, it means the scientific study of language. It, however, okay, linguistics does not study English or any specific language, yet it studies all human languages generally. Linguistics, maybe because like someone can think like, okay, when we say linguistics, we are talking in English, so maybe linguistics is studying only English language. No. Linguistics doesn't study only English language. It studies all languages of the world, not English, not only like Arabic language. No, it studies all the languages of the world. Okay? We study them generally. Yet, what do we mean by scientific study? All right. Right now, we said, what do we mean by linguistics? The derivation of this word, and also the etymological of this word, and from where like first existed. We said like it is from later. All right, but still, when we say linguistics, why it is scientific study? When we say linguistics is a scientific study, we mean that it is as any other science, like physics, like chemistry. All right, let's like stick physics. When we have like maybe any science or any scientist, like خلينا مثلا نحكي كأينشتاين. If we have like a hypothesis or maybe any theory, احنا عندنا نظريه وبدنا نثبت هذه النظريه. اول حاجه احنا كفرع علمي هو الفيزياء، عشان تثبت هذه النظريه بدك ايش؟ في خطوات علميه محدده بدك تعملها، تراقب، تجرب، تختبر، تشوف هل تنطبق هذه النظريه على عدد معين من الناس، هل بعدين تعمل generalization انه هل هي معممه النظريه، الخ واخر حاجه لما توصل لاستنتاج. Okay, when you have like this conclusion, you like reach your hypothesis, right, and you prove your theory. And this is the same something when we say linguistics is the scientific study of language. It doesn't only study language, no, it studies it scientifically. So when we say scientific, we mean empirical and objective, right? When we say empirical, it means that it must be proved according to a hypothesis. لازم نحط نظرية. Okay? Then test this hypothesis. بعدين نختبر. زي ما عم حكينا الخطوات. Create theories about this hypothesis. In case there are some competing theories, mine must be tested against these ones. Maybe like if I have like this theory, like maybe I created my own theory, and then like I find it like there's an opposite like linguist or maybe any other scientist that has like something like my theory. So therefore, I have to prove my theory that it is the right theory. So first, when we say scientific, we mean like it is empirical. Empirical معناها انه هي لازم تتبع اوكي تتبع الخطوات العلميه. معنى انه لازم يكون عندي نظريه هذه لازم يتم اثباتها كنظريه علميه. هذا معناها هو scientific معناها علميه، انه احنا بندرس اللغه بطريقه علميه زيها زي اي علم ثاني، فيزياء، احياء، اللي هو مثلا الكيمياء. انا لازم اراقب التفاعلات الكيميائيه مثلا. لو انا حطيت التجربه، لو انا مثلا حطيت هذا مثلا الاكسيد على هذا الحاجه مثلا، ايش بصير؟ هل ايش التفاعل؟ في حاجات مثلا بنسميها الاوبزرفيشن اللي هو المراقبه، ايش بصير؟ This all of these things we can find them in linguistics, as it is the scientific study of language. This, what do we mean by empirical? When we say objective, okay, objective, I think like it is clear because like we hear it a lot in the university. ما احنا نقول objective جماعة معناها انه هي ايش؟ موضوعية، معنى ما في عندي اي مثلا انحياز لاي طرف ثاني، تمام؟ او بمعنى هي هيك معناها objective، انه ما في انحياز لاي طرف ثاني، انه حيادي انت. This study or the language analysis is not based on any conceive notions or judgments of good and bad. بمعنى لما ادرس اي لغه انا كلينجويست كعالم باللغويات، لو if we like discovered a new language ما بينفع اروح احكي مثلا هذه اللغه هذه اللغه مثلا مش حلوه، هذه اللغه كويسه، اوكي هذه اللغه احسن من هذه اللغه. لا، انا بدرس اللغه كلينجويست بيرسون، كشخص عالم باللغويات لازم ادرس اللغه بدون انحياز. لو انا مثلا كنت شخص عربي وبدرس مثلا اللغه الانجليزيه، ما بينفع اروح اقول انا عشاني عربي لغتي العربيه مثلا احسن من الانجليزيه. اوكي، لازم ادرسها بشكل حيادي. Maybe like we know all like Arabic is it is much better than English, and it is like has like a lot numbers of vocabularies. Like I think like English has like maybe 600,000 maybe vocabs in its language, but Arabic I think it has 12 million vocabs. So of course this proves that Arabic is much better than English. Proving, okay, we prove this. How do we prove this? Okay, هي يعني هذا الدليل الثاني انه كيف انت اثبتت اللغه العربيه مثلا احسن؟ هل بناء على انه انت شخص عربي فخلص انت فضلت لغتك؟ لا، بحكي له اكيد لا. اللغه الانجليزيه مثلا عفوا مثلا فيها 600 الف كلمه فقط، لكن لغتنا العربيه فيها 12 مليون كلمه. فهذا بيعمل فارق في مثلا في الديسكربشن، في الوصف، انه مثلا انا عندي كميه فوكابس كبيره فبقدر اوصف حاجات اكثر. في الدقه مثلا انجلش مثلا بس 600 كلمه، 600 الف كلمه، فالعربي فيه 12 مليون. فهذا بيزيد فرصه انه انا اقدر اوصف اكثر، بتزيد قوه اللغه كلغه كبيره فيها a lot of words, like it has like a really huge repertoire. All right, so when we say objective we mean like you don't have, it is not based on any preconceived notions or judgments of good and bad. For linguists, for linguistic scientists, there is no primitive, corrupt, illogical, or ugly language. Neither there are perfect, logical, or beautiful language. Thus, language analysis is based on observable phenomena and is uninfluenced by emotions or personal prejudice. Okay, I guys, I'll be asking you to like mute yourselves if you find like your mic is on, please. So even like if you want to prove your language that it is good, you have like to follow the empirical way, the scientific way. Like you have like to observe, then to prove, then to have like a hypothesis, then to prove this hypothesis against other visiting hypotheses, okay, like against ones. So you cannot like call a language primitive or corrupt or illogical according to your own notions. على انت مثلا انا مبادئي هيك فما بقدر احكي مثلا هذه مثلا اللانجوج، هذه اللانجوج بدائيه، هذه اللانجوج مثلا هذه اللغه خربانه، هذه غير منطقيه، هذه اللغه مثلا مش حلوه، اروح مثلا احكي عن لغتي مثلا لغتي جميله ومنطقيه وهي اللي هي الافضل. ما بنفع احكي هيك فقط انه انا يعني preconceived notions، انه فقط على مبادئ عشان انا مثلا شخص because like I am an English person, I cannot like say like English is best or it is the best language ever. No, like you have to prove this, right? Because in linguistics, we have like hypotheses. We study language scientifically. So you have to follow the scientific rules. Right now, we will see what do you mean by the scientific rules. Okay, linguistics follows the general methodology of science. تتبع الطريقة العلمية، okay? الخطوات العلميه اللي اي علم اوكي مثلا زي الفيزياء زي ما حكينا والكيمياء الاحياء بتتبعها. اول حاجه في عندنا الاوبزرفيشن، اوكي، انه انا براقب. بعد المراقبه بعمل هايبوثيسيس، بكون نظريتي الخاصه، اوكي، او الفرضيه تاعتي، بكون فرضيه، براقب اول حاجه، بشوف مثلا حاجه هيك غريبه، then I form my hypothesis، بكون الفرضيه تاعتي. after that I start to analyze، اوكي، بصير احلل، اوكي هنا مثلا في عدد مثلا من الناس بيحكوا هذه اللغه، هنا مثلا هذا ما بيحكي هذه اللغه، مثلا هنا في مثلا اخطاء معينه. then I make generalizations، بصير اعمم، مثلا هذه النسبه مثلا بتعم في هذا المكان، هذه في هذا المكان، مثلا هذا المكان كله بتعم في هذه اللغه مثلا. فبصير انا هيك اقوي الهايبوثيسيس تاعتي. انا في التعميم الشيء بصير اقوى، بعدين بصير اتوقع، اوكي، further observation، بس بعدين بروح كمان مره بصير اراقب. فالشيء not مثلا يعني مثلا arbitrary مثلا or like مثلا حاجه عشوائيه انه خلص مثلا هذه اللغه كويسه، هذه اللغه لا، هذه اللغه هذه الافضل، لا. There are methodologies of science prediction. بعدين بعمل further observation، بصير اراقب اكثر واكثر، مع اني انا يعني عملت generalization، لكن because we follow the scientific study. After that, like maybe I will reach to the last stage confirmation، بصير ااكد نظريتي اوكي، انا يعني طبقا لهدول المعلومات انا نظريتي تمام، بصير بدي اكد، يا اما بعد هيك بعد الكونفirmation يا اما بعمل موديفيكيشن، بعدل على مثلا نظريتي او مثلا فرضيتي اللي عملتها، او برفضها. يعني it is not illogical, it is illogical, I cannot like accept it. ممكن because of some issues, but like generally speaking these are the methodologies of science, right? Like this is what we mean by empirical and objective، بمعنى ان هي لازم تتبع الخطوات العلميه اللي ذكرناها، وكمان لازم تكون objective، اوكي، ما تكون مبنيه على اي اعتقادات او اي صور نمطيه عن اللغه مثلا. Okay, this is what linguistics mean. Okay, linguistics studies all languages. As we just said, like linguistics is not like studying a specific language, like English. No, it studies all languages. Okay, how many languages do you think there are in the world? كم لغة موجودة في العالم؟ In 2016, the approximate total number of known languages is 7,097. Yet, 94% of the world's population speaks only 6% of its languages. The remaining 94 of the languages are spread over only 6% of the population. بمعنى انه انا في العالم عندي لغات كثير جدا، لكن رغم ذلك غالبيه العالم بيتكلم فقط 6% من هذه اللغات. وهذه ال 6% موزعه على 94 من كثافه العالم، او مثلا يعني مجموع سكان العالم. افريقيا واسيا تمام فيها مثلا 30% من نسبه ال 6%. تمام. They both have like more than 30% each. اكيد لانه فيها ناس كثير ساكنه. Then like we have like Europe, its languages account for only 4% of the total number of languages of the world. بمعنى آخر إنه إحنا عندنا كثير لغات في العالم، لكن رغم ذلك اللغات المشهورة تمام اللي إحنا عارفينها فقط تأخذ حيز 6% من كثافة العالم. فإنه في 94% لغات موجودة في العالم إحنا ما بنعرفها، مع إنه العالم فيه لغات كثير جدا. Okay, approaches. In scientific study, like we have two approaches. يعني مذهبين. We have descriptive، المذهب الوصفي، يعني نوصف الأشياء، والprescriptive. What is the difference between descriptive and prescriptive? And why do we discuss these things? Of course, because we are studying linguistics, so we are studying these two things, descriptive and prescriptive, to know which like approach of these two linguistics or does linguistics follow. When we say a descriptive approach, we mean like it describes and shows. بس بفرجي بوصف. One that describes how people actually use language. فقط بوريجينا مثلا هذول الناس مثلا بيستخدموا اللغة بالطريقة الفلانية. By observing, describing, and explaining actual linguistic behavior. يعني بمعنى انه فقط مذهب وصفي، ما بعمل اي حاجه ثانيه، انه بس بوصف، بحكي مثلا في هذه المنطقه مثلا هذول الناس مثلا بيحكوا اللغه الانجليزيه، استخدموها، اتطورت من مثلا يعني مثلا الانجلو ساكسون، بقى مثلا فيها كلمات هيك عددهم هيك، بعدين اتطورت هذول الكلمات مثلا بطلوا الناس يستخدموهم. Okay, فقط descriptive, it shows, it describes. Okay, when we say a prescriptive language, I mean like a prescriptive approach. What do you mean by a prescriptive approach? When we say a prescriptive approach, we mean like it teaches and obligates. إنه بيعلم الناس، بحكي لهم إيش الصح وإيش الغلط. One that teaches people the proper way to speak or write. بحكي لهم هذه الطريقة الصحيحة إنك تحكي أو تكتب حتى. How to use the language probably. كيف تستخدم اللغة بطريقة أفضل أو طريقة أحسن مثلا في موقف معين. وهذه إحنا بتذكرنا في الفورماليتي والانفورمال الحاجات الرسميه والحاجات غير الرسميه. مثلا in formal situation, like you have to use like these words, you have like to use these vocabs, like you have to use like these phrases and expressions. Okay, so this is the prescriptive approach. Like we have like some examples like grammar in schools, like in school, like they teach you a specific rule. If you did something that is right in English but it does not follow this rule that we have been taught, it is wrong, right? Although it is right in English, but still grammar in schools especially, it is a prescriptive approach. Grammar in schools, it teaches what is right and what is wrong, okay? Of course, linguistics is a descriptive approach. It is not a prescriptive. Which approach? Linguistics, however, has an objective nature. Thus, it is a descriptive approach. Because as we have just seen, okay, linguistics only describes the way people use language, the way language developed like through ages, the way which parts of the world language has more popularity, and etc. And it is not okay. It is not a prescriptive language. Okay. هلا سؤال لازم نختم السبب. والشرط بيغني عن الكتاب. Okay, like we can answer this question after finishing the recording. Okay, or we can answer it on the Telegram group. Right now, let's just stick to the explanation, and it is in my mind. I will answer it after finishing the recording. Okay. So as I have just said, linguistics is a descriptive approach because it only describes and it only shows people. Okay, we reached main branches. Okay, this is something good, and I think like we will delay them to the next lecture because like they need a lot of focus. They are not hard, okay? Still, they are not also easy, but they need some focus. So we will start to discuss them next, inshallah, in the next lecture. So thank you. Right now, I'll be stopping recording. Thank you, everyone.